Yeah, bam, 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 bam. Welcome, Rabbi Sai. A lot of people are learning Tamid today for the first time. Must be that when this video goes live, it's gonna go live right now, but the first daf of every time we start a Mesechta gets the most views because that's what people are looking for. They're looking for a chavrusa. Now, these videos, these chavrusa daf videos, are not your typical daf yomi video. You're going to get a lot more. If you're looking for the fastest way to learn the daf, there are other ways to do that. Maybe RabbiBlond.com, a lot of Mesechtas in under 30 minutes. But you're going to get some music here, you're going to get some Torah, halacha, hashkafa, some fun facts along the way. We just finished Makos yesterday in our Charusa shop. And what better day than August 12th, 2026, before Elul, at 6:50 p.m. here in North Woodmere, on Yom Kippur Katan, to begin learning Mesechta Tamid.
Someone today told me, he says, he learns a quarter of an amud. Let me give you a recommendation. Instead of your quarter of an amud yomi, just do Torah yomi. Sit down and say, I'm going to dedicate X amount. Learn. That's it.
And just learn any Torah?
Yeah. Learn something, stay with it. You know what Tamid's about? It's about the Korban Tamid. You know, there's a Gemara somewhere. Talks about what's the most important pasuk in the whole Torah.
I didn't even know that that's a thing. Well, why is one more than the other?
And you know what the answer is?
What?
You would think Shema Yisrael, isn't it? Es hakeves echad taseh b'boygiv es hakeves hasheni taseh b'rabai.
Hey,
Why is the Tamid the most important?
Yeah, why?
Consistency, day in, day out, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's raining, whether it's snowing, whether it's sunny, whether it's a heat wave, whether
it's vacation, not vacation.
All about the consistency. This whole thing, Bein Azmanim, the two Zmanim. Olam Haza, Olam Haba. Gotta get cracking now.
And we have to learn these Mesechtas with Mashiach on the doorstep and the third base of Migdash.
You know, the real introduction to Mesechus Tamid, every single day they would bring 2 korbanos. They would bring 2 sheep. It's the korban. As we just said, one in the morning, they would bring another one in the afternoon. That's why we daven Shachris every day, Mincha every day. Because Avon Hossein, our Rabbi, we don't have the base of Mikdash. We daven in place of the Korbanos.
So Shachris and Mincha corresponds to the 2 Tamids?
Yes. This is a fundamental Mesechta because we daven all the time. Now this Mesechta is all the way at the end of Kachim. Why? There's no chidushim in this Mesechta, so to say. Someone who's learning this Mesechta thinking they're going to get all sorts of insights and wisdom, they're going to get all sorts of intricate details and halacha related to Kavanas. Wrong place. Why? What's happening over here is it's not coming to say what's prohibited or what's permissible. They're just saying a story. This is what happened every single day in the Beis HaMikdash. Why? The answer is the Kishibana Beis HaMikdash, in order that when the Beis HaMikdash is rebuilt, when Mashiach comes, we're going to know what to do. We have to know what to do. This Mesechta has nothing to do with nowadays. It has to do with that we should properly prepare for when the Beis HaMikdash comes.
You know, there's a WhatsApp group with, a couple of years ago, there were 1,000 Kohanim that every day they talk about and teach an Avodah so that when Mashiach comes, they're ready.
Okay. Yeah, on the contrary, it's a great idea. So,
the Gemara in
the
Yuma,
first korban every single day that was brought, and we have to. That's what the Mishnah is going to explain, how they guarded it, how they kept it. Yeah, the Gemara in Yuma. Yeah.
Yudal Amid Beis discusses the authorship of these Mesechtas and says that Tamid was composed by Reb Shimon Ish HaMitzpah, while Midas was composed by Reb Eliezer ben Yaakov.
Okay. One other emergency announcement. There's no Rashi in this Mesechta.
What?
They call the commentary on the side the Mefarish, which means the commentator. If you look at in the Gemara that I'm using in the Hagos V'Siyunim and Oz Dalet on the first daf, which by the way is Chafei Amid Beis, highly unusual. Over there it's pointed out that in the 5th parak, The commentary is the Rambam. But until there, we call him the Mefarish, the commentator.
So when I post this to YouTube and the title, I write what daf it is, I should write Chaf Hamid Beis?
Chaf Hamid Beis, but maybe in parentheses, this is the first daf. People are used to seeing daf Beis.
Yeah.
Bavli opens up, oh, you start on page 2. Yerushalmi starts on page 1. But over here, as we explained yesterday at the end, because this is a combination of different Mesechtas together, because they're all short, such as Meila first and Tamid, Midas, etc., therefore all the page numbers are a little off. That's my little introduction.
It's the first carbon to be brought each morning and the last each afternoon.
Yeah.
A unique feature of Mesechta's Tamid is that it is the only Mesechta of the Talmud to contain Gemara for some of its parakim and not others. The reason for this is unclear. Some have suggested that the Gemara of Mesechta's Tamid dates from after the period of Ravina and Ravashi. However, the Mahari Assad rejects this on the basis of Rambam's statement in the introduction to his commentary to the Mishnah that Ravina and Ravashi produced Gemara in all of the Mesechtas of Sefer Kachim except for Kinim and Midas. See, however, Meiri's introduction to Avos. Okay.
I have to see how much lack of Gemara there is. I have to see that. I wasn't aware that there was such a lack of Gemara in the Mishnahs.
A lot of Mefarshim here on Tamid.
Yeah, we're gonna have the Mefarish. We're gonna have the Rush at the side also. I mean, who else?
How
is
many
on the page?
parakim?
I think, was it 5?
What? In Tamid?
Yeah.
Goes to what daf? Lamed something?
Tamid Beis, I think.
Yeah.
The whole Mesechta is it's the shortest Mesechta in Shas also in terms of daf.
Lamed Gimel, Lamed
What
Aleph.
is it, it's 8 daf or
5
something?
parakim.
It's 8 daf.
It's Chaf Hamid Beis to Lamed Gimel, Lamed Aleph.
What is it? It's 8, no?
Maybe.
7?
Not even.
7?
No, 7.5.
7? Alright.
The Mishnah begins its description of the daily routine of the Beis Hamikdash with a description of the nighttime activities of the Kohanim, where they stood guard, where they slept, and when they were awakened for the first service of the day. Very chashav, no?
Yeah, the Mefarish starts off this Mesechta by saying B'shloisha Makayimos, 3 places. Mishum debai le'uriyei b'maise de Tamid. We want to teach about the Korban Tamid. Avoidus Kohanim, and how the Kohanim serve. Naka techila shemirasen. Therefore, the Mishnah is concluding with is discussing first, the guarding, umakom shechivasen, and the place where they were sleeping. Ad shahu mesader kol aseder, until they ordered everything. Shebitechila toivlin, they would immerse in a mikvah originally. V'chulu kasher hu mesuder b'mishnah, as it's explained in the Mishnah. The Gemara nafkalam dikrai the Beis Hamikdash are chshimor. And the Gemara will derive from Sukkim that the Beis Hamikdash needs guarding. You have to figure out exactly what the guarding is.
Yeah, is that like security? Is that
right?
Just keeping the holy temple accompaniment? Keeping
them holy and pure. Di loy nafkalam mikra. If we wouldn't derive this from Sukkim, hava mina, we would have thought the loy srichi shaimer, we wouldn't need guards. There's no poverty in a place where there's wealth. And we will see that line on Chav Tes Amud Aleph. Vi ganvi kli hamikdash kanu acherim. And if they steal the vessels of the Beis Hamikdash, they will literally acquire others. Okay?
Ein aniyas b'makom ashiros means that in terms of Kedusha. What does that mean?
Seems like that's how he's setting it up. In a place where there's wealth, where there's purity, then there's no impurity, there's no poverty.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It's a little cryptic. The Ode, furthermore.
I would have thought that one shemer is enough.
Right.
Umakom shmirasan hi bebeis avtinas ubeis hanitzot ubeis hamoiket.
Okay, so they provide a beautiful picture over here in the Mesechta for these locations I don't know if it's permissible for me
Describe it for the Olam.
to show it on the thing, but you also have color over here. So
We're going to block you from seeing it as not to
wait,
avoid.
you can't use a sefer to block it. That would be prohibited in terms of Hilchos Farma. It's already seen. They could just pause the thing.
No, but now they know they want to
It's
listen.
pretty zoomed out. So
Yeah.
all right. This is the base Hanitzos. This is the base Hamokud. Base of this is the holiest place in the entire universe we're talking about over here. So we're going to be learning about those locations.
So two are on one side and then one's on the other.
Yeah, the base of his penis is on its own side. Yeah.
Now you could look again.
Yeah.
Yeah, bam, 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 yeah, bam, 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 bam. So there's no Taisus?
It seems like not. Okay. Gotta save my voice for that cheer.
Oh, giving a big share tonight on what? What's the topic of Jor?
Be on Kings. Why do they always have to have a Torah with them?
Ooh,
And how
this
does
is the
that
rice.
apply to us? It's incredibly practical for us. The answer
Torah
is short. We
HaKadosh.
always have to have Torah on our minds.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have a literal Sefer Torah with you, remember, Rabbi say you are the Sefer Torah.
Well, bring a pocket Sefer Torah. Bring a pocket Sefer. Or you have Shiurim online in large quantity.
We spoke about that holy Rav who made a scene on Shas, or she should say Mishnah, probably Shas, just while waiting in line at the store.
Rav Benzig,
Every moment is precious. Take advantage.
Yeah.
You know, when you're driving somewhere, and it's a weekly drive, a daily drive, have something that you play, that you listen to.
It says Mayim Genuvim Yimtaku. Lots of initially.
Stolen water sweet.
Yeah, the sweetest. It's referring to the Gemara in Tainus that talks about there was a guy, and there was a hole in his fence, and he was looking at the woman over there. Couldn't help it. So the rabbi said, "What are you doing?" So, marry her. No, you're like, no. He said, no, won't even help even if I marry her.
Mayim Genuvim.
Yeah, won't even help. So Mayim Genuvim, it's the same thing with Torah. Ein I know Torah more in Tainus of Zion. Stolen time to learn Torah is sweetest.
Chap those moments. There were also 21 places where the Levium stood guard. That is mentioned in Midos.
Okay.
Miri says we're focusing on the Kohanim, not of the Beis HaMikdash as a whole. These guards were not posted to protect against theft, says the Rosh, for there is not poverty in the place of opulence. Ena nios.
Meaning no one was poor there, so they didn't need to steal. I think that's what the Mefarish means.
Moreover, says the Mefarish, anything likely to be stolen could easily be replaced.
Oh, the Rambam says that it was a respectable way, that they had people over there. Meaning, there's a certain ambiance when you see all the security guards and, what do you call those people? You know, for a foreign person, he's got a whole security detail. It's setting a certain ambiance, so to say.
Although the very large, expensive objects of the temple cannot be easily replaced, these were in any case not subject to be stolen, because the Beis HaMikdash was locked that night, and at least some Kohanim were present in the courtyard through the night to complete the burning of the previous day's karbanos. It would therefore be beneath the dignity of the Beis HaMikdash to post guards to protect merely against pilferage. Rather, guarding is maintained. I think it's like from stealing.
No one uses it.
Rather, guarding is mandated by the Torah, by the pasuk, and they shall guard the guarding of the Oyel HaMoyed. Additionally, it is the honor of the Beis HaMikdash that the nation never divert its attention from it, which we alluded to before, because the pasuk in Malachim says, "Ushmartem es mishmeres habayis masach." You shall guard the guarding of the house from inattention. The stationing of guards fulfills this mandate. Others add that the stationing of guards promotes the general sense of honor and esteem in which the Beis HaMikdash is held, inasmuch as a palace that has guards cannot be compared to a palace that does not have guards.
Interestingly, the Rambam in the base of Bechira says that they only had the guards at night, but the Mefarish clearly says also during the day.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Security detail. Okay.
The Rush says that the guards stood watch by day and by night.
Yeah.
This is clearly the opinion of the Mefarish.
Yeah.
Other Rishonim maintain that the guards still watch only at night. Okay.
Did you do the whole introduction before the Mesechta also?
You spoke it out, and as you spoke it
Yeah.
out, you anything you there were only a couple
covered
things.
it.
Yeah, you covered it.
Covered.
It says the commentary of the Rush has
I
served
tried-
as our primary
By the way,
commentary.
when, around, I think 14 years ago, my stepfather catered at the Waldorf in
He was a
Florida.
caterer.
Yeah, he was. And
Shem Hashem and Aliyah.
no, he's still alive.
Oh, he's still alive.
Yeah.
But isn't it?
He's very blind now. So
Chizuk.
yeah. So we stayed there for free, and I remember the rabbi over there quoted that thing with the.
So there's your father-in-law?
My stepfather.
Stepfather.
Stepfather. And I remember the rabbi over there at the time gave a drasha, and he was talking about that. That's the most important pasuk. I remember I looked it up, I found it. Somewhere in Yaakov, I quickly looked today, I thought it was in the Hakdama. It's not there. Pretty sure that's where it was. He quoted, I think it's a Yerushalmi. The most important pasuk, Korban Tamid, consistency. That was the whole drasha was based on. I remember it from all the years. It's a good point. Okay, start the Mesechta?
Yeah.
Alright, so V'shloshim HaKaimas.
V'shleishim mekaymes haKohanim shemer beis hamikdash.
Okay.
The Kohanim would stand guard in three places: beis Avtinas, beis is the chamber.
Yeah.
Beis Hanitzites, the chambers of the Ray, R-A-Y.
Nitzos could also mean a spark.
Spark.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that the last Mishnah in Hakainis?
Nitzos. Yeah.
Yeah, the last Mishnah in Hakainis.
Sure.
Baba Kama, about the spark and the hay, the fire.
That's also what the Hanukkah thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Shabbos Chaf,
Learned to Australia Bass, first year base medrash. Beis Avtinas, okay, beis Hanitzites, ubeis Hamoiked, in the hall of fire. Okay, so quite a few different halls.
Yeah.
Beis Avtinas, beis Hanitzites, Hayi Aliyos. Those two chambers,
Yeah,
they were
levels.
upper stories.
Okay.
Haroivim Shem Sham, and the youngsters of the Kohanim would stand guard there. Beis Hamoiked Kippah, the hall of the fire, was a dome.
Kippah's usually an
It was
arch.
built on the ground, leveled with a domed roof. Others
Kippah,
say,
like a yarmulke.
yeah, contend that the Hall of Fire was also an elevated structure, but built atop an arched, a dome-shaped structure rather than on a solid base or on pillars. So, why do you think the youngsters were there? Oh, they were energetic, says the Rush, enough to bound up the stairs to the elevated platforms where the guards stood. I don't know what to say. What does the Mefarish say?
Yeah, Mefarish says in Dibra Maskal HaRoivin that Kohanim that aren't old enough to be involved with avodah. They're under the age of bar mitzvah.
Rush says
Since
they had
can't
energy.
do the avodah,
Yeah.
they were guards. In other words, they gave them a task anyways. If they were able to do the avodah, they didn't want to be a guard.
That's a lesson for modern day times.
Oh, yeah.
In the shul, you shouldn't. You should get the children
Include them,
involved.
include
in
them,
some-
include
Galila, they do Galila. Get them involved.
Yeah.
Get them to clean up a little
If
bit.
they're the right age.
Be the candy man.
Hoil v'yachoylin lavod.
Where are you?
Einonu manichin oisen lishmar.
Where are you?
The end of that Rivan.
Okay. The Rivan is on the side.
Able to, this is an interesting, on the right side.
You mean the
right
Mefarish?
before The Mefarish, sorry.
Wait, the Rivan was in Maklis.
Yeah,
Right?
but-
Hold on. Okay.
So the Rivan, at the end of the Haroiv, the Mefarish, sorry,
Mhm.
right before Beis HaMoikad, said Va'od, at that last line, says around 8 words from the end, 10 words from the end.
Okay.
Yeah, he says Va'od, since they were able to do the Avodah, we don't allow them to do the Shmirah.
Who, the older ones?
Yeah. We're not allowed.
Oh, so to free up room for the
I
youngsters.
haven't found the source also of a Candyman in Shul. I haven't found the source.
What if it attracts kids to shul?
Shalom Lishma Balashma.
Mm.
It is a thing.
Also, nostalgia is very important. So when the child has positive feelings to it as a kid, it will help him be gravitated towards it as an
be all
adult.
the right age. The right age.
Okay. What else?
The base of Tinus, the Mafarish says in base of Tinus, you see it?
Yeah.
Base of Tinus is the Lishkas Mefatmi HaKetairis. That's where they were involved with the Ketairis. Ketairis is famous
I said Ketairis.
Segula for Ashiras.
Oh yeah.
Like it says in Yuma Yirches Holichul Elias base of Tinus Gabi Koyin Godel Laman Risham Risham Hilchos Chafina Shiachas Me'avodus Kashrei. That's where they would learn the chafina, the special scoop, which was the most difficult avodah, like we learned in Yuma.
Yoel Gold had a fascinating Tisha B'Av film this year on Ketairis.
Yeah.
That they found the Ketairis where it was hidden. They found it like 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And Eretz Yisrael, the people in charge of antiquities, whatever it is, wasn't Geiris.
Antiques, you mean?
Yeah, like the Freya.
Yeah.
Weren't
they said it wasn't
the change,
legit. Okay.
And they got rid of it. And they asked Rabbi Vadia Yosef at the time if they can test it to see, because you're not allowed. People who have tested Ketairis on, it was like it was hidden in a cave, like a certain
spices.
Yeah, it was. They tested it and it was made up of 11 different herbs and spices. But anyone who tested it throughout the generations, if you cook the Ketairis without real permission, bad things happen to them. So Rabbi Vadia Yosef said, yes, you can go ahead and do it. They got permission. They brought it back to the United States. They did it. And you have to watch, because these were Goyim who ended up not converting, but they kept the Shev Mitzvahs B'nai Noach. And he said there was a smell from whatever this material was that was unlike anything they've ever smelt in their lives. Not only that, he said we lived off a creek, and he said for the next 2 months, not a single bug. We couldn't find a single bug. There were bugs all the time. He said our area was completely clean of it.
So they still have it?
No, it got whatever they had was in an apartment, and then it got misplaced, and then
Who misplaced it?
Yeah, because the person who owned it died, who had it. It's the person who had it, and then it got cleared out, and then by the time they got to it, but Yoel Gold was given a little container with it that someone had left over.
How did everything got lost except for a little container?
No, the scientists who tested it back in the 80s had still a little bit left, so they gave it to him as a gift.
And they didn't get room when they tested it.
But it was just wild to.
They gave it to him out of everyone?
I'm sure the guy has a little bit more, but he said that no one would ever. They said if to the guy who's a Ben Noach, they said if I give you $1 million, $1 billion, would you cook up what you have for me? He goes, not a chance, unless the rabbi only said, Rabbi Vadia Yosef only said, and then he went to visit Rabbi Vadia Yosef's son and said, yeah, it's talk. It was probably the Ketairis that, I don't know, Shlema, someone hid it, they hid it away during that time.
Oh, yeah.
Phenomenal story. But yeah, so the Ketairis, it was it's for Ashiras, right? That's why people say now the Ketairis.
That's right.
I said it on Shabbos, but I didn't say all of it this past Shabbos, because you're not supposed to say some tefillas on Shabbos, that's it.
Okay, so Mefarish continues. And it says, they were experts with the Ketairis, so it was called on their name. We weren't sure exactly where it was. The Min Parakam Yuma, Shtei Lishkos Hayu, Kohen Gadol. So the Kohen Gadol had 2 domains where he would go. Lishkas Farhedrin and the Lishkas Beis Avatinus. One was in the Achaz B'Safon, the Achaz B'Daram. One was in the south, one was in the north. We didn't know which one was south, which one was north.
Were they on the same side?
The Lishka.
Yeah. What you showed me, there were 2 on the same side?
That's where the Kohen Gadol would sleep. So just to recap,
and Yuma,
Beis Avatinus is on the left side, doesn't say over here with Lishkas or Hedgenis was.
In Yuma, the art scroll has
They don't have it here?
the diagram.
I have it in home.
Yeah. Okay.
The question is, why was it called Beis Hanitzos? Fascinating Mafarish. Look at this Mafarish.
Yeah.
He says.
Where is it? Right side or left side?
The right. It's all on the right.
Beis Hanitzos? Leishamati?
Yeah. I did not hear a reason why it's called like this.
What's the Vav?
So that goes to the Mesaris Hashas and says, look at the Be'er Sheva, who provides a reason. Look at the Rosh and the Rav. Do you remember what the reason before that you said?
Beis Hanitzos?
Yeah.
The Rosh and the Ravid say it was well illuminated by the sun's rays shining through its open side, giving rise to its name, the Chamber of the Ray.
Okay. The question is, was that getting the sun rise or the sun set?
Mm.
Based on how it's positioned. That's the question.
It says in Midas, this chamber was built like a pavilion projecting from the courtyard wall, enclosed on 3 sides and open on the 4th.
Okay. Next Mefarish, Hayu Elias. This is a long one. The Shmiras Kohanim Sarach Elias Makam Gavoa. For the guardian of the Kohanim, there was, I think Elias is steps, levels.
Upper stories.
Yeah, of different levels, and it was high up. The Gemara will learn this out. Chavav and Beis. The Yiluvu. Alecha Yishrutucha V'Gzeres Kafi. Okay, we're going to learn it from a pasuk. Ushmiris Levim Lo Haisel Lamata Itzel Ha Sharim. So the Levim would only serve by the gates. Kakari Le Ha Pasuk Levim Shoarim. That's why the pasuk calls Levim Shoarim B'Mikra in the pasuk. Fishlo Haisa Shmiros and Eliyitzel Hashar. They're only guarding by the gate. Kohanim Hayushoyrim Moisan V'Aliyos Amalkum Gavoa Kederach Shoymir Ear. But the Kohanim, they would guard them. They would guard in the higher levels. That's why they're called the guards of the city. They'd be able to see further out, probably because they were higher. That's what I'm assuming. But called Shoymir Ear Bein Bayom Bein Malaylo Hayushim. There it is. And all of the guards of the city, whether they were guards during the day or at night, they would not sleep. This is clearly the Mefarish's opinion, that they would guard also during the day as well.
So that was not like the Rambam.
Right. The Esrim Va'arba Shaimrim, the Esrim Va'arba Makoimas, there were 24 guards in 24 different locations. Nafkal the Gemara that is right from the Gemara later on, they need to be guarding day and night. I wonder what the Rambam would do with that. Shloisha the Kohanim, 3 of the guards were Kohanim, the Esrim Va'echad the Levim, and 21 were Levim. Wonder if there's any significance with how they split it up and they gave such few to Kohanim. Afilu hayu oisan alios benuyus mixasan be'azara yochayim kohanim le'yishashan kishahayu ayafim. And even if those higher levels were built, some of them in the courtyard of the Beis Hamikdash, the Kohanim were able to sit over there when they were tired. The gogin ve'alios lo niskacha, because the roofs and the higher levels were not holy. Because I'm pretty sure in Yeshiva Bazar, you're not allowed to sit in the courtyard because of the holiness, right? So over there they were, as it says in Pshachim Pehei. There it is, the in Yeshiva Bazar Elo Lamalchi Beis David. And the Zohar, no one was able to sit, because you're only able to sit if you were part of the dynasty of David HaMelech. Okay, the next Mefarish we already did. Beis HaMokad Kippah. Beis HaMokad, Peirush Rabbeinu Chananah, Parakam with Yuma. What's the Beis HaMokad? The Rach explains in Yuma. Al Shem Shelo Hayu Ha'esh Kava Misham La'olam. The fire would never extinguish there. Mipnei Shahayu Noitlin Ha'esh L'Sarach Mizbeach, because they would take from that fire to use it for the Mizbeach. The Amrina B'Toras Kohanim, because it says in Toras Kohanim, which is a Medrash Halacha and Sefer Vayikra, the Rashi quotes.
Does that mean that they didn't let it extinguish, or it was a nace and it never extinguished?
See, originally I thought it was a nace, but then the Rivon says because they would take from there for the Mizbeach. I think it was nace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The mitzvah to bring from a hedger.
The fire?
Yeah.
Like from a common source?
Yeah.
Okay.
The children of Aaron are going to put the fire on the Mizbeach. And even though, alright, this is a famous idea that the Chinuch said, not famous, but this I know this idea already, that even though that there was a miraculous fire which was descending from heaven anyways, mitzvah lahavi min hedger. It was still a mitzvah for them to bring from a pre-existing fire.
And
the Chinuch explains this, I forget exactly which mitzvah, because one should always conceal miracles. And therefore they made it appear as if it was natural.
Even in our own lives?
Yeah, that's a big idea.
Not siman bracha or not to brag? Like what?
Numerous reasons. Ubiyitzias HaShabbos, says in the Gemara in Shabbos Yud Tes, and the first parak Tanan. Uma'achlin eso or b'meduros beis hamoikar erev Shabbos im chashecha de Kohanim de reason him v'loati lahavir. So this is talking about fire with a torch of some sort on erev Shabbos. So it's fine because the Kohanim are quick and they won't come to be involved with the fire. What does that mean? Teresh Rashi on that explains in Shabbos. The fire was used to warm the Kohanim up because they would walk barefoot on the floor of the courtyard.
Is this the Hedjot fire?
This is a different fire. This might be the Hedjot. I think it's different because this is quoting Meduras Beis Hamoka. Yeah, this is Beis Hamoka, correct. So Rashi, so okay, fine, that's Rashi. That means Zvachim, because the Gemara Zvachim Chavdal says, Ho, V'kli Shores, Mekadjin, V'zara, Mekadeshes, since the vessels were holy and the courtyard was holy, Ma Matzinu, V'kli Shores, Shali Yadav Chaitzis, Ben Yadul, V'kli. So the vessels, there shouldn't be anything that was interrupting between the hand and the vessel. There shouldn't be any interruption between them and the floor. That's why they weren't even allowed to wear shoes. We see that Kohanim also nowadays, but that's totally for a different reason.
But they wear socks.
Yeah, they wear socks. That's totally for a different reason why they remove shoes. Kippah, next Mefarish, Kloimer, Lishkas Beis HaMokad Gabi Lishkas Shel Avanim Haisi. The Lishka of the Beis HaMokad was basically on like a marble, rocks. Ubeshvil Shal Kohanim Shoymim Lasham Banu Al Pi Kippah. Because the Kohanim guarded, they built this kippah, a dome. The Shmirasun Sarech La'asoi So Al Gabi Makom Gavor needs to be done on a high place. Kida Nechtav Kida Nafkal Mikra, like we derived from Sukkim because they would watch the whole city. That's the first half of the reruns.
The what?
The first half of the Mefarish on this page. He's going to continue on the left. Okay, did we get to Beis HaGadol yet?
No.
Alright, that's what we're up to now. So Beis HaGadol, the Mishnah continues, Hayamukaf Roivdin Shel Evan.
Is there a Yerushalmi for Tamid or no?
I don't think so.
Okay.
And I don't think there's much question on Yerushalmi. So there's none.
Which is interesting because your shop is
lost.
lost. If we found it, it would be big, right?
Huge. Such a
Let's go, y'all go. Let's go. Get to it.
So now the Mishnah continues and says, we gotta get the Keter here. Ubeis hanitzis hayu aliyos haroivdin shoymrim sham. Is a moka kippah ubeis hagadol hayamukaf roivdin.
The Beis HaMikdash, the hall of fire was a large structure.
Yeah, that's what we just said. What's the Beis Gadol? Is literally the big room. So that was surrounded with roivdin shel evan. Okay, what is roivdin shel evan? So the Mefarish writes in the left column towards the middle of the Amud, Mukaf roivdin shel evan. Roivdin kemo yotza v'hinicha roived revi shebehechavu davar haboilit min hachayma. This is something that protruded from the wall. L'kach asuyin shemina roivdin hayaoilin al gabe mitoisayin. And this is why it was made that from the roivdin they would go up on their beds. They were like beds on the wall. So interesting. They were like in planes sometimes there's sections for the workers. It's on the wall, or sailors. It's attached to the wall. Okay, the previous Rivan starts all the way on the top left. Daled lishkois pisuchois lisham. Yeah? All the way on the top left. There were 4 chambers that were open.
Where are you?
On the top left, all the way.
Of the Mefarish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Amr Lakaiman says later on in Daf Lam, Mesechta Midas, Lamed Daled. Daled lishkois pisuchos lebeis hamoikod kika.
Why did you stop in the middle of the Mefarish before? And
Because
then
we
continue?
finished that Mefarish. I didn't even know Parshat Shad of the Mishnah, so I wanted to see the Mefarish on those words. Now I understand what the Mishnah says when it says that there was the Beis Gadol Mukaf Roived in Shaleven is referring to those beds that were attached to the wall.
Yeah.
I know it's smaller, the longer one is more of a commitment. Okay, so this Mefarish says the long one. They were Dalad Lishkos Psuchos LaBeis HaMoikad Kikot Tuniois Psuchos LaTraklan Klimer Kichadarm Psuchos LaBira. They were basically, it was like vestibules, it was small antechambers and small rooms before the main room. Al Yedei Mailos Oilin Now Lishkos Shama LaBeis HaMoikad. It was like a waiting room at a doctor, Lahavdil. Through that, they would go up over there to the base Moikad. Beis b'kodesh, beis b'chol klimer shtei alishchus psuchos, beis mehem benuyos b'kodesh u'be'azara, beis b'chol b'har bayis. 2 were in the kodesh and in the courtyard, and the other was in har bayis. Beis hamoika balu chatzu b'kodesh chatzu b'chol. Beis hamoika was quasi; it was a little bit in and a little bit out. V'roishi pashpeshim konim mafsikin bein kodesh b'chol. There was a interruption to separate those 2 locations. In order the Kohanim would be careful and to keep everything holy when they were in that area. Maybe you'll ask, since it was on such a tall place, the Beis Hamokad, so it's not holy. The Gog and V'Aliyaslam is kachu. After all, we learned before in the previous Mefarish that the roofs and the higher levels were not holy. Teretz hakipa haisa shava lakarka azar lefikach lobat lekedushas kipa. That dome was equal to the ground of the courtyard, and therefore it wasn't considered to nullify the holiness of that arch and dome. This we can explain another sugya Mesachim al oiso shemua. Shel Gog and V'Aliyos regarding roofs in the higher levels. That Mahasim says that there Gog and V'Aliyos is kacha. That those higher levels, the roofs are not holy. Parchina meisvei hachaloinos v'oivi hachoyma kilefim. The windows and the width of the walls, like it's inside V'Amin, and it says Bishleim at the chaloinos meshkachos tikikichavos lakarka azar. We understand what it means that the windows, because it's talking about the holiness, is when it's equal to the ground of the courtyard. Allah oivi hachoyma hichi meshkachos. The width of the wall, what's that talking about? What's the case? And we can answer Kvar Shura Perush Hachoima Ketana Lifnim Mechoim Gdala. Smaller wall in front of a larger wall. Hina Mucha, and that's lower. The Shava Lakarka Gavoya Ezra, and it's equal to the ground on the height of the courtyard. Shakarka Azara, Hoylech Voilos Milos. Aha, that's what I was wondering the whole time. Because the ground of the courtyard would go up, like levels. Interesting, I didn't know that.
Like a ramp, like elevator.
Seems it was
maybe
different.
like steps.
It wasn't leveled on purpose. I don't know why. We'll have to learn about that. And now the wides get lined in the Mefarish. And how would they do it?
The lines get wide, or the wide get lines.
Oh. Now Ravis, the Roim is he, Haisalishkas Tala. Tala, the Mizrach is the Roimis. The southwest was the chamber for Tela, Korban. It's the sheep for the Korban. The Sham Noisnin Hatalayim and Uvukar. That's where they would put the sheep which were checked. The Roimis Mizrach is the southeast. He Haisalishkas Oisi Lechem upon him. That's where they would have the showbread. Mizrach Safoinis The northeast, Ba Ganzu Beis Chashmonaya Avnia Mizbeach Shikatsu Malchi Oven. That's where the house of the Chashmonaim, where they hid the stones in the Mizbeach that the king of the Greeks broke. So finest Marav is the northwest, Ba Yordim Labeis Tefillah. That's where they will go down to immerse in the mikvah. Tame Yoiri Derech Oisel Lishka Lama'ayin Litvo. Someone who's impure would descend through that chamber to immerse in the mikvah. Ubeis Amoka Haya Besafon Azara. Beis Amoka was on the north part of the Azara. Okay, so now we can really understand this picture. So this is north, the Beis Amoka. So the Beis Nitzos is north. So it's getting sun, not just sunrise, but sunset. It's getting everything. Because that's the north. It's getting sun at all hours. It's getting the sunrise, it's getting sun midday, and it's getting the sunset. Because if that's north, that means that the sun is rising from the Beis HaMoikar up and then going down. It's getting everything. That goes with that explanation beautifully with the shine. Why it's called Nitzis. It's getting all the shines. And
Oh wait, go back, go down.
Yeah, picture.
No, go to the Mefarish. Go down.
Yeah.
Oh, your Dibar Moscow over here is what?
Kippah?
The Kippah Gadol Haya? That's Hafayim and Beis?
Yeah. Kippah. It's the same thing, right there. Kippah. Same thing. One word difference online.
Oh, it's just positioned differently.
Yeah, by one word.
Oh, so that's why I didn't understand. Because when you're jumping to the Lakaman's the top.
First word, Dalit.
No, yeah, so that's why.
Oh, it's forwards off or
Yeah,
something.
so-
Okay, my fault.
But there's no Dibar Moscow over here.
The Dibra Moscow starts on the bottom right. Base called the higher. On mine.
Beis Gadol Haya?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why. I thought you
fault.
stopped randomly, but it's not. It's own.
Okay, my fault. My fault.
No, it's not your fault. It's
Okay, you get a lot of detail from this Mefarish. You see that was the beauty of Rashi. He wrote with the golden pen. He was able to say so much, in small amount of words, concise. Mefarish is easy to read because he speaks it out. Small words is easy to read.
You think it's one person?
I don't know.
Beis Gadol Haya.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the Kohanim sleeping arrangements.
Yeah.
Mukaf. So it was the Hall of Fire. This Beis HaMoiked was a large structure. Mukaf Reivadin Shal Evan.
Those were the beds that
Yeah.
we saw.
Encircled with ledges of stone. Zikne Beis Av Yeshenim Sham. The elders of the Beis Av that were going to do the avodah the next day, they would sleep there on the ledges. Meftichais Ha'azar Biyadam. And the keys of the Azara were in their hands. Pirche Kahuna Ish Kistoi Ba'aretz. The young Kohanim who weren't accorded the privilege of sleeping on those ledges would sleep each with his cushion on the ground. They would not sleep in their holy begadim, rather they would remove them and fold them, and place them beneath their heads, and cover themselves with their personal garment.
Okay. So what are you talking about?
It's like Yaakov Avinu. He had a rock for a pillow.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see these ones. Ziknei Beisav
The what?
Yeshenim Sham. Let's see the Mefarish. Ziknei Beisav Yeshenim Sham. Oisim Shahaya Lahem Ma'avod Lamachar HaYeshenim B'Soikin Yisrael. The people who were serving tomorrow, they would sleep over there in that area in the wall. V'loy Aroiv Dinkai. It's not going on the bed arrangement itself. Dinkin Havili Lamim Al Gabeim. It should have said on them. Gemara Mulchach. Shlo Ali Lo HaRovdin HaYeshenim. They weren't sleeping on the Rovdin itself. The Kamer, it's Tusa, the Kas, Salki, Buhul is Tusa, Mukaflav Dafka, wasn't surrounded. El Oisam Besa Moka, Shabanu, Bachol, Hayamukaf, Roivdin, Shalevin, Ktilalas, Bemito, Shem, Beseicha. In other words, they weren't sleeping on the rocks. The rocks were there to help them go to their bed. The Bamakom Chol, Yushin, Bamakom Kodesh, they were sleeping in a non holy way. The Roshi Pashveshim, Abdilim, Bekodesh.
What does that mean, non-holy way?
there's two different areas. They weren't sleeping in the Kodesh area. They were sleeping in the whole area.
Where they were.
Because we had that interruption like we saw in the previous Mafarish.
Yeah.
Next one, climber. When they were sleeping there, they had the whole keychain. When Mafarish Mesechus Midos, it says in Mesechus Midos, Heichen Haisa Hanachasim, where they put it at Malcolm Hayil Sham. There's a place over there, Amal Ama. It was a 2 feet by 2 feet. The Lishka's base an Amma. Amma 6 tefachim. A tefach is machlekes, let's say 3 inches, 3 times 4 inches. Let's say 2 feet. Yeah, 2 feet by 2 feet. 6 times 4, 24 inches. 2 feet. 2 feet by 2 feet. V'tavla shel shayish. There was marble. Bois and makom. V'tabas hayikavus. There were rings over there. Umegabehen oisen al yedei oisen hatabaos. Higia zman haneila higbiu as a telam in hatabaos al yedei hatabas. I think this is talking about the rings, and they would put the animal heads through them. Inam al yedei oisen hatabaos haisa hatela netula barat ukisheroitzen lagbim abino som min hatela noitel as an avtichos min hashalshelis am avtichos nestunim tachas oiso tavla b'shalshelis v'nal hakoyin b'fnim. Shari Azara, Ubain Levi Yashna B'chutz. They would have the keys, they would have the doors, they could lock it, and Leviim, they were outside. Kamar Melinul Hachshim Avtichos L'makom Antachos Avtava V'noisin Aleha Ksush Shaloi V'Yashna Osata. This is talking about you have a key rack to put your keychains. This is a source for it. Uparchi Kahuna, next one. Ksusa Ksusa Baris. Parchi Kuna Bachrim Sheigil Avudish Ksusa Baris Ksusa Lo Baris Shlo Yehem Krisa B'Chaim. They couldn't go in that area, so the young Kohanim had a different area. Mutos Nami Lavo Rechel Lui Hassan wasn't there for him to go there. Okay, fine. Okay. Then the carry is going to be another topic. Alright, I don't want to be late for anything.
Okay, shkoya.
Good. This is good. Good first session.